I really appreciate being here in front of everyone. And I know this particular session is generally about how technology is transforming the world. As Dr. Manal was just talking about, it's transforming pretty much every field we're interacting with. So whether it's industry with Industry 4.0, or whether or not it's social media, algorithms and AI has completely transformed the planet for good and for bad. There is no other more impactful industry, let's say, than healthcare. And what we were hoping to do, at least to give a practical example, what I have been working on and my view of this industry for the past 5 years, is trying to utilize the power of AI to do something that hasn't been done before, but for good, for the good of the world, as opposed to for negative things like manipulating social media, etc. But I want to give a very pragmatic example. So the example I'm going to talk about today, very briefly, is our work with ultrasound technology. Ultrasound is the #1 modality in medicine. And I'll share my screen just so you have a taster of what that means. I know we only have 5 minutes, so I won't go too deep into it. But it is possible to democratize ultrasound with artificial intelligence and thereby saving millions of lives. To give you some context, for example, what is the problem of ultrasound and where it's going? Well, the #1 problem of ultrasound is that 99% of healthcare staff don't have any experience with it, even though it's the most least invasive and most portable modality in medicine. And essentially, with artificial intelligence, I believe we can completely transform this industry and equip the future of healthcare staff when it comes to ultrasound experience. The way we're doing that, at least in my organization, is by building an app, literally an Android/iOS app. You download it onto your phone, and then it is possible to use these new handheld devices that have just been released into the market to be able to scan patients with little to no experience. So you can have a nurse, for example, instead of a radiologist performing a scan. And there is also this possibility of sending this technology off to the cloud for radiology review. This is hugely important for the developed world because of efficiency and cost. But briefly, I can show you here some picture of, for example, a nurse scanning a patient being guided by the app. And the app is analyzing here in red and green the veins and arteries, and then sending it to the cloud. And finally, to give a very pragmatic, quick overview of what we can do with this type of technology and this transformation in medicine, is detecting the #1 cause of preventable hospital death, which is DVT. And that's done using ultrasound, using our technology currently in clinical trials. We can shorten completely the clinical pathway. So whereby it used to take, say, a blood clot patient 6 to 48 hours to get diagnosed, with technology like ours, in the hands of nurses, it can take as little as 55 minutes, whilst reducing cost and improving patient outcomes. So that's very briefly, I should say. I don't know if I'm already ahead in 5 minutes, but I'm happy to discuss today the complete transformation of healthcare using artificial intelligence. Oh, Reine said I've got 2 more minutes. All right, well, I can go on. They should remind me to stop then. In our case, for example, we've also partnered with Oxford University Hospital, Johns Hopkins, UPMC, Ernst von Bergmann Clinic, multiple hospitals, as well as being backed by the Wellcome Trust. So this technology that I'm talking about is real. It's being used in clinical practice, and hopefully we can have a full CE and FDA mark by next year. Finally, just so you guys have a sense of context of how long this stuff takes, we've been working on this since 2016. And so it's taken about 5 years to get to hopefully at the point of care by reducing costs and improving patient outcomes. And maybe you guys will also want to know a bit about me and the team. I've got my MEng in nanotechnology from the University of Southampton. I used to work as a software engineer. I did some research at Imperial College London. I've partnered with Dr. Bernard Kynes, who is a head of machine learning at Imperial College. Also, my co-founder is Sven, who's essentially a genius when it comes to software development. And then we've also partnered with Dr. Nicola Curry at Oxford University Hospital. So that's my very brief, let's say, introduction to what we're doing. And I don't want it to be too much like a pitch. I want to discuss technology in healthcare quite broadly today, but I'm happy to obviously give you guys that one sort of tangible example of what companies at the cutting edge of AI in healthcare are doing today.